I welcome Ravit Jain for this podcast. This is a kind of a podcast where I was always waiting for. Trust me, there is no person apart from him who can really guide you for this personal branding thing or is the networking aspect. Because I don't feel nobody in this world has ever influenced me by the age that I am. I think probably there are millions of people who have already crossed my life and told that, hey, you might be doing something. But Ravit sir is one person where I've admired because the not the way he carries himself to the society and says that I'm a person who doesn't involve in tech, but I manage the people who write books on tech. There are ways in which you can learn to behave socially because that's where your professionalism comes into the picture. That's where your entire career has a lift. So I'm here with Ravit Jain, sir, just demystifying what should be that absolute hustle that you need to put in when you are in the professional world. And trust me, you won't regret it watching the entire podcast because this is with one of my favorite person, Ravit sir. Thank you so much, sir, for giving me this podcast.
Hey Vishwas, first of all, thank you very much for your kind words, and it's an honor to be on your podcast. You've been doing some fantastic work in terms of interviewing guests and getting big names to your podcast. So why not? Obviously, I was excited, equally excited to be on your podcast. And one thing that I know is definitely keep doing what you're doing, and it will be you'll go far from what you are today. So thanks for your kind words, and you make me sound much better than I am. So thank you very much for that, Vishwas. And yeah, I'm here today to talk about personal branding, about community building, about networking. So happy to share my journey where I'm starting from, what I've done in my previous roles. Where did I start from? How did this spark of building a community started from, and what are the best practices one can obviously apply in their day-to-day life to network better, to brand themselves better. I'm happy to share. Yes.
Yeah, let's just begin with the one of my desired
Yeah.
questions, because I always wanted to know what was my guess in their 15 years of age, because that's the age where we
Yeah.
lose that adrenal rush and we just come to that stable state of mindset that I need to be an legend or achiever of whatever I desire to be. I just
Oh
want to get
yes.
to know what was your 15 years like? What were you an introvert like, or like were you really expressive as what you are today? I was like, what was it all about
Hmm.
when you were 15 years old?
That's a very interesting question, Vishwas. It takes me years back, and I'm just wondering that you were just so naive when you're 15. You're just so, you're just so active. You don't have to worry about, you don't have those responsibilities which you have obviously today. You and that pure mind that this is what I want, and you don't think about the other things around. And this was the same case with me when I was 15. What I was wondering was, should I my goal was, obviously I used to love stock market, because that is something which is very different from obviously what I'm doing today, or what your audience might join to hear. But that was something which was my where I wanted to get to, like a stock market. I want to become the big bull. I want to become someone who's actually trading in the market and doing playing in numbers and making sure that I'm buying some great stocks, and those stocks are actually getting good traction, and then I'm growing with the market, the stock market. And that was one of the reasons which got me to a finance background. I did my bachelor's in commerce, then I did my MBA in finance, then I again just last year, you might be surprised hearing this, but I did my executive MBA in investment banking in from IIM Indore. So it has been a journey. It has always been a journey since the age of 15, where you're so naive when you start thinking that, okay, I want to become a pilot. Like we discussed, you want to become Sachin, or you want to become someone who's you always have a role model, or you have a role which you would want to play, that this is where I look myself. But obviously things kind of change, and then for me as well, the things kind of changed and moved towards obviously I still did everything in finance to get into that market. I still hold some stocks, I still do some kind of trading, because that was my dream. But I still have that passion, so I do it. But I don't do it obviously for a living. For a living, I host shows. I work with Pack Publishing as a community manager and make sure that they're I closely work with tech authors and make sure that their books are amplified at a global level and meet people. Talking about age 15, obviously I was not as extrovert or not as outspoken as I am today, because considering my job today needs this kind of attention, and my brand needs this kind of attention, where I'm going and obviously meeting people. And I'm people's person. I kind of enjoy being around people, and be there for them, be a giver, be out there for the community, make sure that things are falling in place. Because one thing that I know in community, it is more about giving and making sure that you're giving it the right way, what people need, and you will start building your brand from there. So that was the starting point. But yes, again, talking about the age of 15, I would have want to become the big bull of Indian stock market, or maybe the international too. But yeah, that was my kind of the starting point, where I thought that maybe this is my job. But somewhere, I'll tell you one interesting fact that happened, Vishwas. Obviously in the age of 15, you think about something which is you know when you're very naive, when you start thinking that, okay, I want to become a big bull. But in the end, those qualities which a big bull needs, being a people's person, and if you are a big bull, you need to talk to people, you need to be out there, you need to understand numbers, you need to know many more things about companies. And in my role today, I would exactly need the same things, where I'll be people's person, where I'll need to know about different companies, I need to talk to a lot of people. So those qualities kind of came in just because I had that in my mind at the age of 15 as well. So it is not something which somewhere those qualities kind of come with you, but in a different occupation. So yeah, that's about me as a 15-year-old kid, and then again now having those same qualities. But obviously the living is kind of different, and the occupation is a little different. So yeah.
Yeah, because like when I saw your Ravit show during like November 2020, I think that was the time where
Mhm.
it was it was not that popular in terms of people
Exactly.
who really reached back to Ravit show and was really eager to hear. Like I could see that you still have that passion that you had even when you had less subscribers or now. Like I don't care whether the amount of subscribers increase or not, but Ravit sir is going to be Ravit sir for me because the
Yeah.
amount of people that you are interviewing, the because you have contacts with them, and also moreover, like we get an access to their brain somehow. That some part of the
Mm.
brain where we really lack. Like we can't go to them and ask like, I just want to learn this. So can you just teach me? I think Ravit show is
Yeah.
something which is like very much intuitive for me and to others also because it gives an access to that person somehow or the other. Like
Yeah.
I just want to ask you this one question, like, speaking about your career was actually a very very big story because not
Mhm.
everybody can get an access to such great people. Not everybody can get an access to. You have been meeting a lot of people, you have been
Yeah.
delivering a lot of content for the world through the authors that you encounter. But I want to ask you
Mhm.
this one question, like how has your career evolved over the course of time? Because nobody's career will be like stagnant, or else nobody's stagnant
Mhm.
career should be like, I'm just going to sit in the CEO seat from the first day of my career. It takes a lot of chisel to be molding yourself as a professional. And also, like,
Yeah.
I just want to ask you this one question. What do you actually learn from your career? Like, how was it all about to you? And the stories that
I
you can really
Yeah.
share for us so that we can get a
Yeah.
little motivated for our side.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that I kind of feel is once you start working and you are in a field, your first job is the most important job where you'll understand things very well about yourself. Sometimes it is very difficult to do that self realization that, okay, what am I working today? People kind of sometimes do for money, sometimes for some other need. But I was out there, I started working back in 2014, I guess, almost, yes. And that's when I started self realize, I put myself into that self realization mode, that what I'm working for is that my passion? If not, what is my passion? I started from import and export work, and then I did my MBA. Then got into market research, where I used to play into data. I used to actually create you can say reports where there was world data bought in, there was products bought in, and then you need to actually put it down in a report and play in data. So somewhere it started, and that kind of hit me very well when I was working in data. And obviously working in data is obviously back in 2017, it was kind of booming, it was getting bigger and better. And that's when I realized that maybe I'm enjoying this work. I want to get into data, I want to understand data people, I want to understand what people are going through. But not until now, when the Ravit show started back in 2020, when I got a chance to actually get much more closer to them, where I was like, I want to, since I had that curiosity, I'm sure many people out there have that curiosity where they would also want to come closer to expert and understand their lives. So why not create a platform where I can interview these folks and actually get their expertise and learnings to a wider audience? And that's one of the reasons I never worry about the subscribers or worry about the number of viewers or all of those things, because it's about catering the niche audience. If you're catering that audience, people will love it, people will like it, and not all the topics are relatable to everyone. So understand your niche, get in there and just enjoy this, because that will help you grow. So it was back in 2014 I started realizing what I need to do. Then I got towards it, and obviously in 2017 I was actually working in data, and I was making sure that those reports, which are not only to a country level, but it was through primary and secondary research at a global level, at a regional level, at a city level, at a country level, and create those in a report and send it across to obviously companies who need them for each and every product. It can be a pencil, it can be a mouse, it can be a keyboard. So all those things kind of came in together, and then Pact happened to me, obviously. And Pact kind of gave me that platform where I can closely work with tech authors who are working in data science, who are working in data. And obviously I was very happy, because that was one of the things I wanted to get closer to. I wanted to get closer to people who are working there. I'm not a technical expert, but still now today, if you look at me, I might know a few things in data, and I enjoy knowing more about it, just like anyone else, and learn about the new aspects that are happening in the data field. So this got me, obviously also to the Ravit show, where I wanted to get closer. I'm already working with tech authors, so it kind of helps me to understand their, thought process, and get into that field where uh, the groundwork actually where they're working, and get them up to speed in terms of obviously through the Ravit show, and just encourage them to share their journey, share about what they have done, and what's the future of data science, AI, all of it. So yeah, and that was the unique thing that started back in 2020 for me. And people kind of enjoyed it, and now I have an audience who kind of expect that, Ravit, why are we not having a show this week? It can people do reach out to me that way. If I don't have a show, I literally almost make sure that at least one show a week is kind of I put it out for them, even if I'm on a vacation or whatever. But at least 1 hour I can give it to my audience. It kind of becomes your responsibility when you get into it. Then you start feeling that, okay, I can't miss this, I need to have at least one show for my audience wherever I am. If I'm in obviously in mountains, that's a different thing, where you won't have a network. But at the same time, it is important you just get so involved that you start enjoying your work, and that is what has started happening in my case. It's more like a brand that I look after the Ravit show, but at the same time it is something very close to my heart. Pack Publishing, I would say, has been very supportive as I work at Pack Publishing at a daytime job, as a daytime job, and obviously publishers are kind of in that space that they feel that there are many restrictions, obviously, considering the work that we are doing. But still, Pack Publishing has given me that free hand, that Ravit, you have your own brand, you are passionate about it, please go ahead and you can build it over. We Even though I have some contracts, but that's all right, I guess. So yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, in all, it's a fun story. It's enjoyable what I do. I love interviewing guests. I love my audience who join in and have some amazing questions. And after the show as well, there are so many queries about different things which are obviously some sent to the experts, some are obviously resolved through me, and it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, because most of the times we forget that we are supposed to build ourselves as a professional. So
Yeah,
that's where we forget that where is our niche market. We forget to find our
definitely.
niche market, and we like, okay, this market is not working out for me, even though I'm good at this. So yeah, to all those people, I think probably Ravi show, they have to look back at it and say that, hey, I'm going to find my niche and I'm going to work on it from tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yes, definitely. I think Vishwas, definitely it is very important to find your niche and start working towards it, because what happens is it's not a story of I always share in all my interviews very cliche thought, that is obviously it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You need a long run. It has taken me almost a year to come here, and there's a long way to go. I haven't achieved anything. It's just I'm interviewing folks. I have a little bit of audience, but obviously there's a huge market in your own niche as well. If you understand that, there's nothing like it which can stop you from doing what you are, and have that energy, enjoy your work. Rather, don't make it feel like it's your work. Like you say, that it might be, you might have seen my first episode, and today you might see my episode. It's the same. I wouldn't be dull, because obviously going on camera and having those guests interviewed on the Ravit show is very important to me. It's fun more than making it look like my job, or maybe what I'm creating is a set of episodes. It's just enjoyable. There's a lot of information which is coming out, and first hand information from people who are the real builders in the community, who are the real experts, who are the creators, the founders, the CEOs, the CTOs, the CDOs, all of those people. So it is that's one of the reasons I have that energy when at least I'm going on air, because I'm equally excited. It's not that I want to give that energy to the show or anything. I'm equally excited. I'm enjoying. I'm just another audience sitting there and asking questions, nothing else. So yeah.
yeah, I know there are a lot of people who might have influenced you in life,
Oh,
personally,
definitely. Many.
professionally. But like, I just want to ask you this one question: who are the most influential people in your life? I think you can give an example of any person. I know Tom Ayush has been one of the
Yeah.
person who has really told you, Ravit is my son. He one of the people that I admire because of all the hard work that he has put in order to just give some value to the mentees that he are in. I'm also a mentee, but like
Oh yeah.
I'm busy in something, so I might not attend, but
Yeah,
like I just
exactly. I
go
get
back
it.
and see his show. Like, who are some of the most influential people in your life now?
Okay, there are many. I would say it's not a journey. I don't want to upset anyone by not taking names, but to share a few names, obviously, Kate Strachny, my friend, my guide, my mentor, everyone. She's been that support that, Ravit, you need to start something, when I had LinkedIn Live, and you can definitely, I did share that idea with her, that should I start my show? And she was like, yeah, definitely do that. Have this. And she always told me one thing, obviously, which is uh, don't have roadblocks in your mind, otherwise you won't be able to do it. Don't think about things so much. If you plan to start a show, put down the material, start announcing it, and it's on. It's just that easy. But if you sit on a thought that should I start, what would be the repercussions, will it work or no, it will just take away your time. If you, and then you kind of come to a point where you're like, no, I don't want to do this, maybe these are the problems that I might face, and you might have just got away with an idea which was brilliant for your career, and just by not trying. So stop having those roadblocks in your mind. So one, obviously, Kate Strachny is my very good friend, and she's been one of the most influential and inspiring person in my life. Then obviously Tom Ives, my father, obviously, like we share a great bond. We discuss a lot, though obviously everyone's busy in their lives, but still we find that time for ourselves and meet. And yeah, I have that. He's been that influential person. But obviously, not to forget my amazing managers, Dominic Shekshaft at Packt Publishing, John Malais, who actually gave me that push in the very beginning 2 years back and asked me that, Ravit, you should start your own LinkedIn thing, and create your own brand and all of those things. So it started back then, which is obviously amazing, as you're working for a brand, but still there's another brand they can expect you to grow. So that did happen. But there are many obviously in the field. If I take names, there'll be less. There's a whole data gang that where we have on LinkedIn: Scott Taylor, Suzanne George. There are many, Andrew Jones, David Langer. I can name it, and those people you might see coming out with great content out there on LinkedIn. And we kind of hang out in a group on LinkedIn, and we enjoy being around. But these people are very influential. They help you to understand that. What I like about the group is obviously everyone's creating their own stuff. Everyone's out there doing something unique, which which is inspiring, and which brings me to also a point where Ravit, do something which is very creative, which is new, which is something which the audience will love. And that's when the show happens. There are resources that I share on LinkedIn very often. I'm out there sharing resources with people and making sure that whatever is available on internet freely, why not share it with my folks. I have my partners 365 Data Science, which is the sponsor for the Ravit show, and they make sure that Ravit is getting good content that he can put out, and they kind of help. So all the people kind of come together, and our community is very, very cool. There are many inspirational people out there. There's Kenji, my one person I really like, I admire. He creates some amazing YouTube videos, and just by he also obviously does his initiatives, hashtag 66 days of data. If you're not following, please do that. So all those things, all those people kind of come together and make you win in this community, and you always are getting inspired by the work they are doing. So it's more about meeting people, learning about their journey, start your own journey, put those small baby steps into it, and you will be at a place where you will have many opportunities. You will have people around you. You will have your own audience. You will have your own content that you would want to put out every day. So yeah, that's about the people, the community, and many more things.
Yeah, because most of the time people make an influence just like a tornado. They just come inside our life and they just move out by just influencing us. Probably some
True.
people might be like very disruptive, like they come in, they just influence you, they build you as the right person, and they might say you just have your life, just move out of all this
Very
and
true.
just build yourself as a new person from now on. But like, that tips and tricks that everybody needs in order to build the best version of
Yeah.
themselves. Like, I just want to ask you the best tip that anybody can hear from you, so that they can build themselves as the best professional right now in the market which we are seeing. It's not the data science market, it's not a deep learning market, it's
Yeah.
also about, like in
Yeah.
MBA itself, there are finance, HR, operations, there are other things, but there is consulting, there is GM, there are a lot of things up there. Market,
Definitely.
we don't do the entire market study, but like how to just be that one disruptive dude in
Hmm.
the market. That's my question.
I Vishwas, what I think is definitely, in terms of the tip, I'll tell you one thing, which is I'll focus more on the soft skills, obviously, because what I feel is the one thing that when you're starting your journey as even an intern or as an employee, one thing is believe in yourself, ask questions, be curious about things. There are three things, three tips that I would give. First thing is believe in yourself. Understand first, if you're going out for a job and if you don't believe in yourself, there's always on the job learning. Start believing in yourself, and trust me, your boss will start trusting in you because you believe in yourself that okay, I will do this. I will build this up and I will work this through. So that belief is very much necessary. The second thing is be curious. If you're not curious, you're not doing the job right. You need to be curious to learn a lot of many things. If you're curious, you know that you'll learn, you'll ask questions, and that asking of questions is very much necessary early in the stage. And also till date, I ask a lot of questions, not only to my authors but also to my guests. I interview them so I'm asking questions because that's how you will be learning things. So obviously it's one of the most important things. The last thing I would say is mm, go out there, be fearless. Basically be fearless about what you're doing. If you start fearing, or if you start having those roadblocks in your mind, you will not succeed. You will just be someone who has the best ideas but are just sitting on it forever and not executing them. And it will not take you long way, because it will take you long way, but it will take time. If you want to get on that path very soon, start trying and error. Start trying and getting into that trial and error bit. If you've heard about it, we used to have integration, the trial and error, and all of those things, mathematics things. So those things are very much important. These three things where you say believe in yourself, be curious, and obviously be fearless. Because if you're fearless, you are out there and you will make some amazing strides in the community. You'll make some strides in your career. And one more tip actually I would want to give is, obviously, don't what we usually do is compare. Don't compare yourself with people. You are on your own journey, you are on your own time zone, as in on your in your space. You've started your journey at a time. So don't compare yourself with people who are well established or people who are not so established. Otherwise that will get you to a place where you are uh, unnecessarily actually competing with someone who's just above you, or somewhere not reaching at your level. Keep it simple, just do your things, enjoy it, and make sure that you are not getting into something which is unhealthy competition, uh, building roadblocks in your mind. Rather be fearless, be curious, enjoy your journey. And yeah, these are the simple tips. It's very easy. It's just about being on your toes when you are in this journey. Enjoy it. Basically, why people are not enjoying it, why are you why are people actually getting so out of place at times? And there's obviously we are in that scenario, obviously, during COVID, where people kind of they kind of break down. I understand mental health is very important, so that's why I say these things might help you take over your obviously the problems that you might face due to mental health. I wouldn't want anyone to get into that situation, because that is real. And it's better to be on a side which where you are enjoying, and it's not a competition. Be fearless, just be out there and enjoy everything. That's it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true, sir, because we forget to enjoy that process of we building ourselves
Exactly.
as a professional, and
Very
that's
true.
where we go wrong, and that's where we don't enjoy that process, that and we stop complaining about the companies, like they're just working me out, like they're just overburdening me with a lot of work
Exactly.
and things like that. Like, I've been a biggest fan of the way you're communicating, because you actually reach out
Thank
to
you.
people, you actually reach out to the folks, and you actually support a lot of folks. Actually, I messaged you a very long time, but you somehow reached out back without hesitation,
Oh
and
yeah.
you just came out for the show. And I'm very humble and I'm very honored to host you in my show now. But like, I want to ask you this one question. Like, when we are
Yeah.
networking, we also need to network in a very precise fashion. Like, we can't network with all the people out there, because
Yeah.
there are some malicious people. Like, when Tom Ives came and cried after a show, not in the show,
Yeah.
like he had seen some worst folks in his life. There are people who can really make a very bad impact in your life also.
Oh yeah.
So how to network in a very precise fashion, which is
Hmm.
very good for your professional journey? That's my question.
I Yeah, very interesting question. And I know there are negative people out there who there see, I will tell you just in one line this, and trust me, that keep that with yourself forever. Haters are gonna hate. It's a very cliche line, but they are gonna hate. Forget about them, start ignoring. If the if you put out a post and if they don't agree, that's their opinion. If you take it that way, trust me, no one will be able to affect you in any way. But yeah, there are people who are not so healthy, so just be away from them. Take your distance. And if not, I rarely do this. I rarely block someone. If it is affecting you, go block them, forget about it. Just don't worry. The main point here is, haters are gonna hate. Let them hate, but you're doing your stuff, you believe. So that's when you can take the tips and tricks in place. Believe in yourself, be fearless, be curious, and that's what you are being. And that's the reason, if someone's not liking it, that's not that's nothing to do with you. You're doing all the right things you should be doing. So I don't think I let myself. Okay, there are sometimes when you start feeling low, or you're having someone who's just not so cool. But at the same time, if you are confident about what you're doing, there are many people who appreciate your work. So always remember that you're doing something for, obviously, first for yourself, then for people. And there are many more people who appreciate that work, and there are very less people who might not be that healthy, or who might not be that appreciative of your work. So forget about it. Why do you want to concentrate on someone who's just this? Rather concentrate on some people who are this. So that's completely what I feel. I don't concentrate on someone who's this. I might concentrate on this part and grow myself from here. Yeah.
Yeah, because people sometimes forget that soft skills, like writing an email is
Very
a big
important.
skill, and
Very important.
learning how to reach out to people is also a big skill, because you can't write probably 1,000 lines of email and convince them to come for a podcast. I learned it through LinkedIn, because as soon as you send that request button, connection request, the thing pops up, add node, and it's only
Yeah.
limited to 300 words. and
Right.
and over the course
Exactly.
of time, I learned how to tune my way of convincing people to join my show. And also,
Very
like,
true.
that's where software comes into the picture. It's not like, okay,
I
I'm in my
Yeah.
college and I'm just
I
scoring 9 CGPA or something. It doesn't matter.
I think, Vishwas, you when you say, you need to have that limited sort of, when obviously you asked me something around networking, it is very important to be precise, because everyone's busy in their own life as well. They have something that is going on. Like, you have your studies, or if you have your podcast, or if you're done with that, you have your job search, or you already at jobs. There are many things that are happening, right? But similarly for me, I might have my show, I have my authors whom I will be working with, I have my Packed as a brand, and then I have a few other things. I have my own life, right, in the end. So I will want to rather read two lines, and what will it say will be clear, up to date, that this is something what I want from you, Ravit. Can we do this? If not, when can we do this? And it's that straightforward. If someone reaches out to me that way, rather than having a whole conversation where, hey Ravit, how are you, and then expecting a reply from me, it might take me some time. I might reply as well, but rather I would start a conversation where, hi Ravit, I'm looking for a podcast with you. Will you be happy to be on my podcast? That's it. And I'll be like yes or no. That there are two answers. Most of the times I say yes. If and Like you mentioned that I reached out to you too. Yes, obviously I make sure that at least in a week, or at least in every 10 days, I go back and see all my messages and try and respond to everyone possible. Most of the times I'm very active, but sometimes when I'm not, I make sure that I'm going back and responding to everyone, and making sure that that networking is happening very well, because it's about me giving back the respect that they have taken out the time to write a minute for a message, and I'll take that 1 minute to reply as well. So that's my theory. When I talk about networking, I make sure that it's been respected two ways, and made sure that most of the times if there's a question which is something which is directly relatable or relevant to me, I'll respond.
Yeah, because when you're building ourselves as a brand, Ken G, he's a
Yeah,
brand now. He's
yeah,
more into
exactly.
sports analytics, but yet he has all the knowledge of data scientists today. Tom
Definitely.
Ice is a brand because he knows how to mentor his mentees up, and he knows how to educate the people in the right way.
Very true.
That's what really fascinated me when people call them as a brand. They're not a brand, but they are a human being who
Humans.
have
Yeah,
that faith, who have created that faith in the people that I can get some education from them. That's what it is
definitely.
all about. But like, I want to ask you, like, some of the keynotes that we need to follow when we are creating ourselves as a brand. Because
Hmm.
branding in LinkedIn is fine, branding in YouTube is fine, branding in as a professional in the professional world, where
Hmm.
we meet a lot of people might have different opinions and things like that. How to brand ourselves as a student and as a professional? That's my question. Where
Yeah,
for this professional world, we need to be ready for it.
I think the most important thing is don't shy away from your brand. One thing that I've noticed is people have their own brand and they don't want to talk about it because it looks like they're bragging about it. No, right? I'm wearing a t-shirt. I have a banner behind it because I have it, right? I have a brand which I'm very much proud about. So why wouldn't I want to talk about it? Why wouldn't I want the world to know about it? Because at the first instance, when I went out there, I wanted some people to know about my brand. So that's one of the reasons that I will always be talking about my brand. Why is it that if I've developed a bit, I won't be that passionate about my brand when what I was the first day, like you said in the interview itself, that Ravit, you're still the same passionate person. You'll still have the same energy interviewing. When we saw your first interview with Kate Strachny, or maybe today, if you had a last interview with Scott Taylor, you had the same energy. So obviously that energy is very much something which you'll take for a longer term, and be proud about what you've created, and don't shy away from your brand is my tip. When you're in a professional setting, make sure that you are talking about your brand if it is relatable. Obviously I wouldn't say that go about and just talk about your brand all day, but when it is relatable, when it is necessary to talk about it, why not just go out there, talk about it, have your signature, where you say that okay, you are the host of the Ravit Show, you are the host of XYZ, or you are the founder or CEO of XYZ company. So I think it is very much important to understand that do not shy away from your brand. It's not about bragging, but it's about about being happy and being proud of what you've created for yourself. Very simple. Yeah.
Ravit sir, let's just end the podcast by focusing on something which is your world, the publishing world.
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
currently that's where you really work, and that's where you actually put the mark on this entire market. Because if it's packed, Ravit sir is one person where everybody knows. Like, I just told
Thank
about
you.
Pack, and one of my friend came back and so, oh, the Ravit show, right?
Hmm.
That's the amount of impact that you have done through LinkedIn and also through other things also. I just want to ask you, like, what's the actual thrill of publishing books? You know, tips for the authors and tips for the new publishers who are there in the market today, like how to reach out
Yeah.
to publishers, how to just be patient throughout the process of publication and things like that.
Hmm. First thing, very interesting question, and thanks for that. If I can make that small impact on people and get the word out for Pack Publishing, nothing like it. The process is first thing. I am very proud to be associated with the books that I am working with the tech authors. I make sure that the books are amplified at a global level and those are reach the right communities because it's about educating in the end. Pack Publishing has a motto where it's more than money. The motto is obviously educating people, helping the IT professionals to upskill themselves in their career. We are giving that boost. And talking about the publication, it is there are many ways one can reach out to Pack Publishing. One is through the website. The other one, obviously, they can reach out to me directly. I can give them a direction where there are many producers who can actually have a look at it. There's Tushar Gupta, there's Caitlin, there's obviously Dominic Sheckshaft, then there's Ben. There are many people, obviously, in publishing world. These are the producers at Pact Publishing, but there are many people who are known as the product managers. You guys can reach out to them, and the early point, obviously, any acquisition editor or producer might ask, or a product manager might ask a potential author is what is the idea, will the idea be feasible, we'll do a complete research about it, we'll make sure that the market fit is right, the price point is right. We have a world class editorial team who might be, once the author is on board, we might go out and the editorial team might actually see the manuscript very well. They will actually edit the bits very well. There's a technical team who would look at the codes and make sure that the technical aspects are very much in place. We have a complete marketing team. I'm also part of marketing team and closely work with producers to make sure that the books are going out and reaching the right audience, I would say, and educating the right people. So that is very important. So that is about Pack Publishing in a nutshell, where if you have an idea, definitely don't hesitate, because you never know your idea is a good idea or a bad idea until you do that research and see that it is a good market fit. And if it is a good market fit, we are happy to publish the book. The publication obviously starts from the proposal stage, where there's a proposal that you would want to write and see who is your target audience, what is the approach of the book, what will you cover in the book, how does the TOC look like, and then we'll take it from there, where we'll be going in depth and making sure that the board kind of likes the idea, and why is the idea that unique, because there are many books in data as well. So how will your book differ from others? That is very important to understand as a producer, as an acquisition editor, as an author too, because we want the authors to be that 6 to 8 months that authors put in writing. It is a lot, it takes a lot to write a book. Please, to everyone out there who think that book is just written out of it's just about giving 2 or 3 months and it's just published. No, there are more than 50 people involved in just one book publication. So more than 50. So you can only imagine the hard work that goes in publishing one book. But it's fun. I'm very proud of the books I'm associated with. I'm lucky enough to get a chance to work with world class authors who are making strides in their communities, and who I get to talk to people who are actually the creators, the founders, and be around them. So yeah, in all, publication is one of the very rich areas. uh, but at the same time, it is a lot of hard work that goes in publishing books. So everyone out there, please respect publishers. They are making their we have it's obviously a bread and butter, but at the same time, it is something where a lot of research goes in, where there's a lot of hard work and too many people involved in there. So yeah, but I love Pack Publishing, and I make sure that the books are amplified, and make sure that the right hands are getting the right book, and everyone can feel educated, and out of the authors feel proud of their work, what they're doing, obviously. So that's about, yeah, about the publication, Pack Publication. But there's a lot in detail. We can definitely, Vishwas, talk about it offline, and we can, if you want to know the processes in detail, I can share it with you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for this amazing podcast. My dream of doing an podcast with Ravit sir has already been completed. There's
I'm
nothing more
happy.
satisfying than today because I completed 3 podcasts by now. Yours,
Amazing.
Sirisha, and Vishwanath sir.
Wow.
Sirisha is somebody who is like 366 days of ML. Like she has done ML code for 366 days. And I just like her consistency and I just reached out to her and she gave me a slot
Wow.
today. She's in New York now, I think USA. Yeah, she's in US now. She gave me a
Awesome.
time which is like 7 p.m. in her time, which is like 7 a.m.
Hmm.
in my time. It was
Right.
an amazing day today, like a lot of podcasts up. And yeah, I'm enjoying by doing podcasts. And thanks for Ravit sir for motivating me to start a show called as a
Oh,
podcast for
I
Hustler.
if I could be inspiration for anyone, that would be the biggest compliment I can get. So thanks, Vishwas. You're doing a fantastic job. Trust me, you are in a place where you have that energy. You have so much in you. You are on the right path. Please don't stop, and don't let anything affect you. Just be who you are. Just have a pure heart and do pure things, and you'll be great.
Thank
Definitely.
you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Thanks for completing my bucket list of doing podcast with Ravit sir.
Definitely. No worries.